Hi, my name's Daver, and in this video I'm going to unbox, set up, and give you my first thoughts on the Bosch 1617 EVS fixed base router and the Bosch cabinet style benchtop router table. This is Daver Made, Tool Review Edition. So recently I needed to upgrade my router table and router. I had a really good router table, but I wanted to upgrade to something a little nicer. I'm not gonna name the brand, but I felt it was time to level up a little bit. So I purchased the Bosch router table and router, and I got a really good deal on Amazon. And I know that this router is going to fit with this router table. Other routers will fit with this, but I knew for sure getting the combo, I wasn't gonna have any issues with compatibility. I'm gonna start off by unboxing the router table, setting it up, and then I'm going to unbox the router. Here is a quick overview of the Bosch RA1171 cabinet style router table. It measures 25.5 inches wide by 14.5 inches high by 15 7/8 inches deep. It has a laminated work surface, and the cabinet style provides storage and dust collection. It comes with a dual outlet switch with a lockout key. There is a 3/4 inch accessory slot for items such as a miter gauge or a feather board. It has an aluminum router mounting plate, which is pre-drilled for compatibility with not only Bosch routers, but many other common brand routers. It also has a tall MDF faced fence, which is adjustable, and there is a 2.5 inch dust hose mount on the back. All right, so it says heavy on it. It's got some good weight to it, so that's a good sign on quality, right? Is this box worth saving? I'm gonna cut it open and just, you know, maintain it if I can. I'm gonna lay this flat, and I'm gonna slide it out. Maybe not. How is this? All right, here we go. Ready? That didn't work. That budged. There we go. All right. And then I got a little box. Let's see what's in this little box. Yeah, this looks like the accessories. You got all the screws and things like that. Looks like you got some feather boards here, and also the power supply portion of the router table. Some, I don't know what you call these, guards, I don't know, a dust collection port in here, and then the actual fence itself, and then it looks like, I think these are some shims. In the small box, there's also an overhead guard, which I guess protects you from accidentally putting your hand down on top of the router while it's spinning. And this attaches to the fence and is adjustable. And it also comes with a starter pin guard. So this is, will protect, I guess, you from doing the same thing when using a starter pin and doing some curve work for routing. I believe that's what it's used for. If not, comment below, correct me, it's all good. And then in this box, I believe this is the cabinet portion of the router table cabinet. All right, here's a door, and here's the manual. That's a beefy manual. Do we need the instructions? It says save the instructions right on the first page, so I guess we do. And just kind of lay out the pieces of the cabinet itself. And there is the top of the table. Here's a recap of what's in the box. The cabinet style benchtop router table itself, of course, a user manual, the 2.5 inch dust hose mount, dual outlet switch and power cord, MDF faced fence, 2 feather boards, mounting hardware, adjustable clear bit guard, starter pin and guard, 3 mounting plate insert rings, and 2 1/16 of an inch outfeed fence shims. So I got everything laid out. Time to put this together. Now I followed the instructions as best as I was willing to put up with and put together the cabinet portion first. I will say that it was quite tedious with the screws and the hex key that I'm using, but you'll want to be patient and not over tighten the screws so you don't crack the MDF. All right, I got like the bottom of the cabinet portion put together. So now what I need to do, I need to attach the switch to the tabletop. Due to the position and the size of the switch, Attaching this to the tabletop was a bit annoying, and I didn't feel like I had enough room to get my screwdriver in to tighten up one of the screws, but I was eventually able to figure it out. Then once the switch was attached, I attached the top of the router table to the rest of the cabinet. It's like putting IKEA furniture together with these screws. Just a quick tip. The miter bar is actually not attached to the tabletop. I found this out the hard way when the miter bar fell out when I flipped the tabletop over. And once the door was on, this pretty much completed the cabinet assembly. Then it was on to assemble the fence. It was a very heavy-duty fence. I like it. I don't need these feather boards at the moment, but you can attach them to your fence. There's a dust port that's gonna go on the back of the fence, and I'm gonna attach the fence and the dust port right now. So something I just noticed while I was trying to set up my fence, take a look. I don't know if you can see that. The laminate top or coating or whatever it is already chipping off. I have had this for not very long and I haven't even used it with the router yet. There are pieces flaking off the top. That's discouraging. Hopefully it's not a sign of things to come with this router table. I thought it was really good. It had a lot of good reviews, but seeing that flaking off like that already, not looking good. All right, so that completes the setup of the router table and cabinet. It wasn't too bad to put together. You know, I like the look of it, though I'm not really sold on the materials this is made out of. I really wish that the entire top was made out of this cast aluminum that's here. I do like the storage option there. That is nice, but I bet you it's going to fill up with a lot of dust. So now that the router table is put together, it's time to unbox and assemble the router. Here is a quick overview of the Bosch 1617 EVS router. The router is a 2.25 horsepower, 12 amp motor, variable speed, fixed base router, and it has a speed range of 8,000 to 25,000 RPM. So there's not really much in the box. This is pretty simple compared to the router table. So we have a manual and a wrench and some other, looks like some screws in there. I'm gonna put that down. And you just have the router. That's a pretty simple unboxing, I would say. You have these nice wooden handles. I mean, that is pretty basic. In here we have a 1/4 inch collet. I believe it comes with a 1/2 inch, but I'm not exactly sure. A couple wrenches here. Some screws I'm assuming are for the mounting plate, warranty card, registration information, and our manual. Here's a recap of what's in the box. The Bosch variable speed router itself, the RA1161 fixed base, 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch self-releasing collettes, 2 drop forged wrenches, chip shield, above the table height adjustment wrench, the user manual, mounting hardware, and of course that registration, which I did not list here on this screen. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just, I swapped out the collet, so it comes with a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch collet. And this was really simple to just kind of unscrew here. And I put the 1/4 inch on so I can do a test with this. Comes with 2 wrenches, pretty easy to use. One just goes on the shaft and the other one on the collet to kind of tighten it down. And just like that, I got my router bit installed. So before I mount this to the router table, I need to remove the sub base that is on the router. I also removed the fence, which is very simple. These just kind of go in the notches in the top of the router table, fit in, and then you just tighten them up. So it was super simple to get that off. So I was very excited. I just realized what I said. Make all the jokes you want. I'm super excited to start using this, so hopefully it won't take me too long. And what I'll do is get this mounted to the router table and then do some test routes, cuts, whatever you wanna say on how you do that. So in order to mount this to the table, I actually have to take the plate here, mount it to the top of the router. So I'm gonna do that now. In retrospect, I realized that you may be able to mount your router without taking off the plate. And I'm gonna switch to something with a little bit more technology here for me. Woo, there we go. And I guess we just line it up with the holes. Now what I'm gonna do is just kind of drop it in here. There we go. And I'm gonna reattach these screws to get this nicely secured. And I should be on my way. There we go. Now I have the router and the fence and everything set up. Now it's time to do some test cuts. For these test routes, I'm using some scrap pieces of wood, mainly because I'm not a millionaire. One of the first things I noticed was that the fence was slipping, and I thought I had tightened it down a good amount, but apparently I did not, and I had to tighten it even more than I thought I would need to. Then I decided to do some tests without the fence to see how that went. And that's when I noticed something was not right. So unless I'm doing this wrong, this insert is not level with the table itself, like the top of the table. So when I'm running a piece through, see that? Now, unless I set this up wrong, it shouldn't do that. It should be level. I'm gonna have to take a look at the manual and see if there's something I did wrong. But if this is intended behavior, that is a big no-no. All right, so it always helps to actually read the manual. There are countersunk screws that allow you to level the table. So everything is good. I feel good. I'll show you where they're at. So right in here, there are some countersunk screws. There's 4 of them, and you can adjust these to level the table. So thank goodness. I'm glad that there's a fix. And again, read the manual. After spending a few minutes leveling the mounting plate, I decided to start doing some more test cuts, and it worked very well. Go on. Here are my first thoughts on the Bosch router table and router. I really like the cabinet style, especially with the extra storage that is available to you in the bottom. I like the fence. I think it's a beefy, tall fence. It's also nice that you can mount more than just Bosch routers to this router table. I also like the accessory slot, which I'll be using a Rockler box joint jig on for my next project. A couple things I don't like about the router table are things I've already mentioned. One being that the laminated surface is already chipping off, and that is a bit concerning. And another thing is I wish that the entire top surface was cast aluminum or even cast iron, but I guess you get what you pay for. Things that I like about the Bosch router are that it's pretty simple to use. It's very powerful. I like the variable speed options. While I like the look of the wooden handles, I don't really like the feel of the grip. I prefer to have something that fits my hands a little bit better than just the round wooden knobs or whatever you want to call them. Other than that, I really enjoy this router. I think it's a good purchase, a good value, and I'm excited to continue using it in the future. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope this gave you some insights into the Bosch router table and router. So until next time, thanks for watching. Build something, make a mistake, and be safe.